Mic check, mic check.
The basics of flat track roller derby. Brought to you by Antic Skate Boots and the Women's Flat Track Derby Association.
I almost wore the neon pink ones today, but then they were too high, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
Helmets,
Mic check, mic check.
twist guards,
All right.
and knee pads. The track is flat, not banked. Each 30-minute half is broken down into shifts called jams. The group of 8 players at the front is called the pack. The pack is made of players who play the position of blocker. Behind the pack are the jammers. The jammers are the skaters who score points and are marked by a large star on their helmet. When the whistle blows, the jammers try to skate their way through the pack and out the other side, but they will be met with the hips, rear, and shoulders of the opposing team's blockers. When 2 bodies make contact on the track, this is called a block. Once the jammers have skated their way through the pack the first time, they're ready to begin scoring. They earn a point every time they legally pass a member of the opposing team. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. The jammers will fail to earn points if they pass the opposing blockers illegally. Any player who performs an illegal action will earn a penalty. So what's illegal? Elbow, whipping, back blocking, and passing out of bounds. Any player who receives a major penalty has earned a 30-second trip to the penalty box. The jam ends when the lead jammer places her hands on her hips, or when 2 minutes has elapsed. 30 seconds later, a new jam begins, and the whole thing starts again.
Pepper to the announcer booth, please. Pepper to the announcer booth.
Total bad sport, like all around. I saw the girls doing it and I was like, I can do that. I got tattooed with another girlfriend of mine, and she always cried when she got tattooed because it hurt, and she played roller derby, and I thought, I don't cry when I get tattooed, so maybe I'm stronger than you. Maybe I can play roller derby. I'm an athlete. I played sports growing up, and I was a childhood skater, a speed skater. For me, it was just the best of both worlds. I was able to combine my desire to play a sport along with the skating. It looks a lot more intense than it actually feels. Actually, don't use that at all, because it's really intense, and it sucks sometimes. I met my husband, actually, in Derby. I'm a triple threat. I play them all. I'm a triple threat. I play everything. Blocker, jammer, and pivot. Blocker and pivot primarily are responsible for playing offense and defense, and trying to get their jammer through and prevent the other team from having their jammer get through. And the jammer is basically your offensive person who's responsible for scoring the points. Having an injury was pretty sucky. I hurt my knee, so I was out for about a month and a half total. It's usually not a matter if somebody gets hurt. If you're in it long enough, you're going to get hurt. But I've had a broken fibula, torn deltoid, which required fixation with plate and screws. And then I've had knee surgery and I've had foot surgery. Receiving the 2012 Best Blocker Award from my league. A lot of my league mates voted for me, so that was super awesome. Totally, I didn't expect it, and I also I got 2012 MVP, so that was, I cried. I mean, it was a roller derby award, but I cried because it meant a lot to me. There really hasn't been anything easy about joining derby. It's been very time-consuming, very physically draining, sometimes emotionally draining because you get so involved in it and you just want to get better and better, and at times you do plateau, so that gets pretty frustrating. At the same time, the stuff that's been hard has been so rewarding that it totally works out in the end. Come see us. Don't make us come see you. Join the revolution at housequad.com.
Got a bunch of phones happening.
Different stuff. And I assume now like timeouts and stuff is what they do to sponsor rattling and all that. I love you guys. Is this the same as yours?
Yep. All right, so we're not going to safety check. It's 5:55. Let's get this party started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Quad on this wonderful Saturday evening. My name is Shelbatron Prime, and I will be announcing this evening. With me, I have the marvelous John Wayne Stacy.
Hi, guys.
Just so everybody knows, there is an expected storm this evening. There is a storm a-coming.
A storm a-coming.
In the event we are to lose power, everyone please just stay calm and seated. We will get everyone out of the building safely and efficiently. Let's go ahead and start with our skater introductions. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry, national anthem. If everybody will stand. Flag ceremony with the Scouts. Nobody wrote that. So we need the Scouts, announcement Scouts. Will you talk to the Scouts about that?
Okay, boys, whenever you're ready. These boys that are part of the Scout Troop, they are Troop 60 out of Shady Shores, and they are near and dear to my heart. I've known these boys since they were all very, very, very small, so I love them very much. I'm so glad that they're here. They are selling camp cards to fundraise for their summer camp. The cards are $5, and if you go to Kroger and spend $50, you get $5 off. So you get your $5 back. So go visit the Scouts over in the corner, back by the snack machine and the snack bar. So thank you very much, boys.
What?
Yes. As long as they sell them at Kroger. Yeah.
Should we just introduce and start with Crown Queen?
All right, first up we have the Trauma Queens. Whammy Jammy, number 4. Roxy McSocksoff, number 13. Love Struck, number 143. Joan Jetsetter, number 77. Baroness Von Booty, number 1057. Also, skating with the Trauma Queens, we have some Mafia help. Mimi Martini, number 603. President of the United States, number 666. Yolandi Disser, number 15. Co-captain of the Trauma Queens, Phenol Barbie Doll, number 232. And your captain, Professor Sakabiach, number 55. Not skating this evening, we have Cruisin' Bruisin', Rammer Jammer, Not a Chance in Hell, Miracle Smacks, coached by Dr. Feelgood, bench coached by Ophelia.
Round of applause for the Trauma Queens. And the Hickory Street Hooligans. We have Washington, number 1. Daughter of Sam, number 7. The Blocking Dead, 505. Lil But Fierce, number 6. Trip Tonight, high 5. Sweet Little Agony, number 79. Storm A-Comin', number 37. Party McFly, number 3. Jenny Hoffa, number 1014. Armenian Ass Halter, 22.01. $2 Pistol, number 45. The co-captain of the Hooligans, Vixen DeBruiser, number 62. And the captain of the Hooligans, Ruby Soho, number 720. Not skating tonight are Glitter Pisser, Vicious Sammy Licious, and Flash of Fury. They are coached by Rip City and bench coached by Warpig. Round of applause for the Hooligans. Who's ready for some roller derby? Y'all are going to have to be a little more excited than that to get these girls out on that track. Who is ready for some roller derby? Yeah. Trauma Queens, are you ready? Hooligans, are you ready? Warpig's ready. Warpig is ready. We are having some technical difficulties with the scoreboard, but it's coming. Everybody calm down.
Make sure everyone's off the list.
Hey, they're on the line. There's pivots on the line. Everybody behind the pivot. There's pivots on the line. Everybody behind the pivot. I'm just saying. I'll see you in a minute.
We need Doc, baby. We need Doc.
We're having some technical issues with getting the scoreboard to the show.
Doc's probably the closest. I would say Chris, but she's skating. She's more good. She makes anything. She's skating.
We're trying.
It's scoreboard. That's what they're waiting on. Should I make announcements about like the fundraiser and I feel like I should say something? While we are waiting for our technical difficulties to get under control, I would like to announce some upcoming events that we have going on here at House of Quad. On April 25th, at 3:30, the Hickory Street Hooligans themselves are hosting a self-defense class here at House of Quad. It's $20 per person. Terry Spector, who is a member of the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, will be here to teach that class. So any of you that are interested in self-defense, come on out to House of Quad on April 25th at 3:30 and learn how to defend yourself. Oh, and Warpig, this guy right here, is giving a pepper spray demonstration. The $20 might be worth it just for that. Just saying.
I did this. I just did that. I don't like this. Like literally, I had to not on skate while she was fighting paperwork. Okay. Just be like, you're on skate, like flying around. Like, it was she had straight sprints. She skated with me. She's one of her friends. Skated a while. She's like skating around. I didn't get great dancing all one time. Get mom's helmet on. It's just a kid that was on the practice. And was skating around the front. And it was like something in NTDR. I know, but the teacher and me finally couldn't handle it. And I was like, friends, I love when I hear people say that the teacher and me couldn't do this. Like, that's the best friend. I catch myself doing it. Either friend or like, I was like, hey, I thought that was good. Think about why we did that. Reflect. And everything goes through there. And look at you. This is a teacher.
5 seconds.
Why did you give them 5,000? When you're certain that I actually prepared, I go 5 minutes. Roll the man. This is just the man. I'm like, I need practice, whatever. You're all back. Yes. Right. Great stats. Are you? No, you're certain. Anyone doing a trick? There are kittens. They're foster kittens.
Do it. If it's not flat, come on. Doc 6 to get his unicycle. Hey, party. Doc 6 to get his unicycle.
I'm just warning you. There he is.
They're waiting. For your entertainment, we have Doc on his unicycle, entertaining everyone. Cheer him on, cheer him on. It's very exciting. Doc does lots of tricks. He can juggle on his unicycle, but he doesn't. He's invisible juggling right now, and. Can you do fancy tricks, Doc? I mean, not that it's not fancy enough that you're riding it.
Let me go talk to the rest.
Yeah. What can
we give you a jump?
Shelby, ride the unicycle. Oh my God.
In the skirt. I like that there are now skid marks on the track. Can we get it on this one?
Projecting. That's just what she had done. They have a shiner out there. We're trying, Sean. Sorry.
No worries. It's not meaning you gotta fight off. Some of these fans here in a minute.
Oh, it's going to be the Hooligans
Hey,
in a
we'll protect
minute.
you for as long as we can. That's all I'm gonna say. Make sure you ride the unicycle first. That's how I get out. Like, why are you taking your shoes off? I'm trying to take my shoes off. Why are you riding? Let's get out riding you.
Maybe you want to say that we have to wait for the scoreboard because otherwise they're just like scoreboard. Like our clears did. Sean, how can we say that?
Sean, can you explain to me why we need the scoreboard? That way I can clue in the fans.
We can announce it.
What?
Why we need the scoreboard.
So I can tell the people.
It's the rule. So they changed the rule on roller derby. So the clock is the official clock. Everything else is secondary to the board now. It used to be the board was secondary to everything else. They changed it and said
That's the real one.
God up there. So if we get off, we get adjusted, but that's what we go by. We play by whoop the rule. That's whoop the rule.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just a little bit of a explanation for you. The scoreboard is the be-all, end-all of our timekeeping. It used to be with the refs' handheld stopwatches, but now we actually have to go by the physical scoreboard. That's why we're having to wait. I'm going to go ahead and talk about some other events that we have coming up. On May 2nd, TXMRD is having a home bout at 6 p.m. Stacy, do you know who's playing in that home bout?
I believe it is the Dirty Mother Truckers versus One Direction. I think that's happening. We had, that game was scheduled for a few weeks back and it had to be rescheduled. So come on out and support our men. They're awesome. It's a lot of fun. So show up for that.
Also, May 9th, we have the Fighting Unicorns. They're hosting a 5K fun run in hopes to raise some money for travel. For just $20, you will receive a t-shirt donated by Avast Apparel, as well as a raffle ticket for some spectacular prizes. Check-in begins at 10 a.m. at the Oak Street Draft House, or you can register online to save $5. May 9th, Fighting Unicorns Fun Run.
And can I just say out loud that that t-shirt is designed by me, so it's going to be awesome. I'm just saying. Show up, $20, come and run with us.
May 30th, we will have the 4th NTDR home bout. It will be ESN versus the Trauma Queens and Hooligans versus the Mafia.
Really? That's all the events we have? That's it.
right, teams, we're going to go ahead and get started without the scoreboard because this is getting out of hand.
We are working to fix it. Sean is going to have the master timekeeping in the center. We're just going to be really diligent and continue to tell you guys what the scores actually are. So, Derby fans, are we ready a second time? So are we. Let's get this party started. Team Zebra, are you ready?
NSOs, are you ready?
All right. Awesome. Waiting on the cue from Shaun of the Dead.
We're getting backup timers to the backup timer to the backup timer to make sure that this goes well.
All right.
Starting on the pivot line. This is interesting.
It is interesting. Derby starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We've got Ruby Soho going up against Phenol Barbie.
Right on the outside.
That was a good hit. Ruby Soho is your lead jammer for the Hickory Street Hooligans with Phenol hot on her tracks. Ruby Soho in the pack, calling off the jam to make sure Phenol doesn't score any points, leaving Hooligans with 1, Trauma Queens at 0. On the Strouds Fitness Jammer line for the Trauma Queens, we have number 77, Joan Jetsetter.
And Trip tonight for the Hooligans, number high 5. I'm real anxious to see if they play this whole game old school.
I love seeing packs start at the front. It's really, really an old thing. We haven't seen it in a few years.
Ooh, Trip tonight for lead jammer. Snuck up the inside.
Joan Jetsetter taking a pretty big hit from the Hooligans, getting knocked out by teammate, President of the United States. Pushing through that middle, trying to get through, hit out of bounds by the blocking Dead.
Trip tonight struggling with that Trauma Queens wall, making her way through. Trip is still stuck behind that Trauma Queens group.
Got a pretty long pack here.
There, she made it out on the outside.
Joan Jetsetter fighting through that impressive Hooligan defense. Trying to take the outside, takes a nice hit from Jenny Hoffa.
And this is Joan's initial pass. Trip tonight to the box. That's putting the Trauma Queens on a power jam. This is Joan's chance.
Looks like Trip tonight is going to Big Mikey's penalty box for a forearm penalty.
The Hooligans bringing her all the way back. Panty pass for the Trauma Queens, giving that panty to President of the United States. Working her way through those Hooligans.
Able to get by on that outside from Little But Fierce. Star pass is complete. The star is now on President of the United States helmet, so there is no lead. We're going to go for the full 2 minutes.
Trip tonight snuck by on that inside line with some help from her team. There's our scoreboard. Look at that. Updating that score after that last jam.
Just going to take us a minute to adjust some times here. That way we're going to have our scoreboard correct, and we're going to continue with this game. In the meantime, we'd like to thank our 2015 House of Quad sponsors. We have Texas Institute of Orthopedic and Sports Surgery in Grapevine, www.tiosonline.net. I can tell you they are fantastic. I've seen them for many of the injuries that I got during my 4 years of Derby.
They're starting.
Back to the track, we've got Roxy McSocks off, jamming for the Trauma Queens.
And Armenian Assaulter for the Hooligans.
Armenian fighting through the front of the pack, going up against the TQs. Roxy running into some trouble at the back of the pack with the Hooligans.
Holding Roxy back, pulling her back, all the way back. Armenian coming in for some points. Roxy makes it out of the pack.
Oh, but it's called on a track cut. It looks like she may have cut somebody in the Hooligan lineup right there when she tried to get through. We are on a power jam for the Hooligans as Armenian Assaulter gets by, scoring 5 points. For those of you that might be new, as Armenian got by with those 5 points, she got a grand slam, which is 5 points. It happens whenever you pass the opposing team's jammer. She got 5 this last time as well. Jammers do get ghost points for opposing players in the penalty box. Armenian fighting it up at the front.
Track cut for Armenian Assaulter. She has to go all the way around the track to come back to Big Mikey's penalty box.
It's a good opportunity for the Trauma Queens to try and reclaim some of those points that they lost while they were down on the power jam, because now they're up on the power jam.
If Roxy can push through those last couple of Hooligans, she'll be able to get on out there and start getting some points.
Roxy McSocks off, fighting at the back of the pack. Jam is called for time. Trauma Queens picking up 3 points. Hooligans picking up 4 more points. For the Trauma Queens, we have Joan Jetsetter starting on a power jam. She gets the opportunity to try and get through and get lead jammer before Armenian is released back onto the track. Some great offensive help up at the front from President of the United Skates.
Trauma Queens doing their best job to hold back Armenian. Doing a great job. Hooligans also holding back the jammer for the Trauma Queens.
It's nice to see such intense attention to strategy this early in a game. Both teams coming in with a lot of knowledge and knowing what they're wanting to do. Hooligans are known for their impressive defensive walls. Trauma Queens also have got some really powerful defense as well.
I'm seeing some offense tonight too, which is nice.
Armenian calls off the jam after a nice hit to the outside, picking up 2 points for the Hooligans.
Trauma Queens 0.
On the jammer line, we've got Phenol Barbie Doll for the first time tonight.
And a little bit fierce for the Hooligans. Also first time jamming tonight. Let's see what these ladies can do.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Phenol's actually second time jamming. The first jam blew my mind. Some impressive angle work from Phenol trying to break up that Hooligan defense at the front of the pack.
I think Little But Fierce might be going to the box for a cut. There she goes around the track. Phenol has made it out. She is lead jammer.
It's always nice when you have some chaos in the pack. It kind of gives you the opportunity to sneak in and get lead. She's coming up on that first scoring pass, coming in with a lot of power.
Phenol is such a fierce competitor. She is always 100% on her game, and she's going to the box for a back block.
Sometimes that happens when you come in a little too hot. You misgauge the distance. A little bit fierce released because Phenol's cheeks hit the seat. So Phenol will only have to serve the same amount of time that Little Bit Fierce did.
One jammer sits, the other one stands. Little butt getting bounced around in that pack. And she made it through. Pheno sneaks by on the inside. The Hooligans didn't even see her coming.
Picking up 4 points for the Trauma Queens. Both of these players have really great explosive footwork, getting them a lot of speed in a short amount of time. It's very impressive. A little bit fierce, running into some trouble from the Trauma Queens at the back of the pack.
A little bit sneaking by on the outside. We have no lead jammer in this jam, so it will go another 11 seconds, which is a full 2 minutes. Both of our jammers went to the box, so that means that lead gets taken away.
A little bit fierce, sneaking by again, picking up another 5 points for the Hooligans, leaving 4 for the Trauma Queens.
There's a whole lot of bamming and slamming going on the track tonight. It is beautiful.
Jamming for the first time tonight, we've got guest skater Yolandi Disser, number 15 for the Trauma Queens, going up against number High 5 Trip Tonight for the Hooligans.
President of the United States holding Trip Tonight back there in the back. And out of the pack, lead jammer is Yolandi Disser.
Oh, but is called for a track cut. She will not be lead. That leaves lead available for Trip Tonight, who is going to try and capitalize on a power jam. Trip Tonight getting by on that inside line, picking up 5 points for the Hooligans.
And she calls off the jam. Official review for the Trauma Queens.
Official review. Right.
Okay, so I'm assuming that we are not going to try to unplug that to play anything. I don't think so.
We have so many awesome people in this community that are the 2015 House of Quad sponsors. Kendall Chiropractic and Acupuncture in South Lake. www.kendallcare.com. And we also have our very own Southwell Massage, Fluffy the Great, who you see on the track tonight is one of our refs. She is out of Louisville. Visit www.southwellmassage.com and let her magic hands do the work. She's amazing.
Bombard people with talking, but that's my job, I guess. Well, it's hard when you were trying to bombard, to fill the air before everything started. I want to feel like everything, because it started late, people are just kind of irritated anyway. Yeah. Well, that wasn't anyone's fault. It was what it was.
If anyone needs a tasty snack or a cold beverage, you can visit the Huck Wagon. There are some yummy goodies over there. I know there's popcorn, and there's some chicken tacos, and lots of different candies and sodas and water, all that kind of stuff. So head on over there and check out the goodness at the Huck Wagon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Trauma Queens used their official review. Trip Tonight is going to be serving a penalty as the Hooligan Jammer for a hit that she made on Joan Jetsetter that was a forearm penalty. It was awarded. So, Kryptonite will be starting in the penalty box.
And because Feelgood was able to make that penalty actually happen, he does not give up his official review. He gets to keep that, so that's exciting.
He's got one more for this half.
He gets one more, which is great.
That's a great situation for any coach to be able to name the color and the number of the player, be able to know exactly what the penalty was, what the impact was, and that's how you get your penalties awarded as a coach. Very, very smart move on Feelgood's part.
Definitely got to know your stuff as a coach in cases like this.
Jam is back on.
Yolandi Disser jamming for the Trauma Queens. Storma coming to the box for an elbow.
Pack is called out of play. Yolandi Disser able to get by.
And Disser's out of the pack. Lead jammer. Oh, trips right behind her, about half a track back.
Both teams setting up, looking for the impact. Yolandi Disser able to get by, picking up 4 points and calling off the jam.
Hooligans picking up 2.
That's still a good situation for any jammer. That's a really smart move on her part, looking for how many points she's going to score in relation to how many points the other team is going to score.
And back on the line for this jam, we have Joan Jetsetter from the Trauma Queens, number 77, and Little But Fierce for the Hooligans.
I feel like this is going to be a common lineup that we see most of the night from both teams. These are both really powerful jammers.
Ooh, Joan Jetsetter going to the box. And a little bit sneaking up the inside. Great offense by the Hooligans there. They got a little bit there on the inside.
Absolutely. It's always nice when you can just see a giant alley on one of the lines and take it. Pretty fast moving pack we've got here on turn 2. Little Bit Fierce trying to fight through, pick up some points. Jumping over one of the Trauma Queens down players, getting by 5 points, calling off the jam.
Pulling a strategy move there so that the Hooligans will start on a power jam. There's a few seconds left for Joan Jetsetter in the box, and they're using that to their advantage for sure.
For the first time tonight, we have Washington jamming for the Hickory Street Hooligans.
This season marks Washington's 10th season in roller derby, which is awesome. That's pretty amazing.
That is really impressive. And she just came back from some pretty serious injuries from last season, so it's great to see her back so early in the season as well. Very powerful player.
10 years in this game could do a number on you, and Washington is still playing and playing hard. Washington to the box for a forearm penalty. Leaves Joan Jetsetter on a power jam, trying to get past Ruby Soho and blocking dead, doing her best job there.
Mimi Martinez
and going by on the inside. Go ahead.
Joan Jetsetter, lead jammer for the Trauma Queens. I can tell you, she's a really impressive new draft. For this being her first season, she shows a lot of tenacity, which I love to see as an announcer.
Her first game out of the chute against the Main Street Mafia, our season opener, she was awarded Best Jammer, which was amazing. She's such a great skater.
That's a huge honor for any player, especially a rookie. That's really fantastic. Washington back on the track, going to try and redeem some points. She's not lead, but that was her initial pass. Washington out of the pack, going to try and speed around. Joan Jetsetter calling off the jam, making sure Washington doesn't pick up any points, leaving the Trauma Queens with 3, Hooligans with 0. Just outside of 15 minutes in the first half, we've got Hooligans 42 to Trauma Queens 18.
on the line, we have Phenol Barbie doll for the Trauma Queens and Daughter of Sam for the first time on the line, I think, for the Hooligans. And Lovestruck knocking her out on the outside, pulling her back. Phenol still fighting the Hooligans wall in the front. And Phenol makes it out of the pack. That was a rough one. She is lead jammer. Daughter of Sam made it out of the pack. Phenol flies through the pack. 4 points for the Trauma Queens. And Phenol calls off that jam before Daughter of Sam had a chance to score. If you have any questions, you're not sure what's going on in this game, maybe this is your first game, we have a Derby girl in the crowd. Red Dead Roulette is holding a sign near the front. Ask her, she'll tell you. Trip tonight fighting her way through the front and gets lead jammer. Roxy McSoft's off. Coming around the outside. Fights off the blocking dead and makes it out of the pack herself. 4 points for the Hooligans.
Jam called off by Trip tonight, I believe. On the Stroud's Fitness Jammer line, we have President of the United Skates skating under number 666 tonight, going up against Little But Fierce number 6. Jam is on. Both jammers trying to race off the line. Little But Fierce sneaking by that inside of the Trauma Queen defense, picking up a lead jammer.
Hit by Agony out there on the outside. Pulling Prez all the way back. Little But's working her way up the front, sneaking by.
She got some great offensive help by Storma coming on that outside. It was enough to distract the Trauma Queen lineup.
Offense is happening tonight, and it's really good. Doing a step over move there.
Offense is a relatively new concept in Derby. I think it's only been really common for the past couple years, and I think everyone's really just starting to grasp it and understand the best way to use offense to their advantage, and it's a really beautiful thing to see for the sport.
President of the United States was sent to the box for, I believe, a low block. So that puts the Hooligans on a power jam. A little bit fierce, got to work her way around, try to score some points. Calling off that jam, another strategy move on the part of the Hooligans. They're scoring 3 points. And starting a fresh jam on a power jam. Don't forget, we have the Boy Scouts, Troop 60 over here selling camp cards for $5, and you get your $5 back if you go to Kroger. It's a pretty good deal. Armenian Assaulter starting out in this power jam. Making her way right through those Trauma Queens for lead jammer. President of the United States out of the box and trying to do her best job to make it through the pack on her initial pass so that she can start scoring some points for the Trauma Queens. Panty pass. Yolandi Disser has the panty in her hand. That's a star pass. She has now become the jammer. Working her way through the pack. Trauma Queens holding back Armenian.
go. Let's have you jammer through. Let's go.
Disser still fighting those hooligans. To some of you, it may look like there is not a jammer out there. Disser has the star in her hand. She's now put it on, pushing her way through. Hoffa going to the box for a forearm penalty. Booty up at the front of the pack, going to try to stop Armenian from scoring on her. Stopping her, rolling her back. We've got 10 seconds left in this jam. And that ends the jam. The Trauma Queens with 0 and the Hooligans with 5. We are a little more than 2/3 through with the first half of this game. On the line for the Hooligans, we have Triptonite, number high 5, and Joan Jetsetter, number 77 for the Trauma Queens. Mega pile up there. Skaters from both teams down on the ground. Somebody's going to the box for some low blocks there. Joan Jetsetter going to the box. Agony going to the box. Big Mikey's penalty box has seen a lot of action in this first half.
You know, Big Mikey's penalty box is never very lonely. It always has some friends, which is nice. Whammy Jammy being called to the penalty box for a low block, probably in that same pileup we had there on turn 2 a little while ago.
The Hooligans are going to start for a third time with a power jam because the other team's jammer is in the box for a few more seconds. It gives them a little bit of an up on the upcoming jam, just enough time to maybe get their jammer through to gain lead. Trauma Queens held off Triptonite. Oh, nope, a little bit fierce. Long enough to get their jammer out of the box. Joan Jetsetter is up the front fighting for lead jammer, and she makes it out of the pack. Joan is lead jammer. A little bit fierce going to the box. Again, Big Mikey's getting some action tonight.
That's a great opportunity for the Trauma Queens to make up some of those power jams that they lost earlier.
Definitely. They need it right now, and they are taking full advantage. Ooh, Agony pushing Joan right out on the outside, but going to the box for that. Oh, looks like a cut. Joan Jetsetter's coming back to the box. Right in time for a little bit fierce to make her way out of the box.
So Joan's actually only going to set for a little less than 30 seconds since Little Bit Fierce was already standing. She'll probably sit for about 22, 23.
And this is another one of those jams that will go the full 2 minutes because both jammers spent some time in the box. We've got about 45 seconds to go in this jam. Perfect opportunity for both teams to score some points if they can get back out there.
Little Bit Fierce getting out on her initial pass. There is no longer a lead jammer, so as Stacy was saying earlier, we are going to go for the full 2 minutes. We've got both jammers coming up on the track at turn 2. Going to try and get some points. Little Bit Fierce able to get by, picking up 4 points for the Hooligans. Jam is called for time.
4 points for the Trauma Queens as well.
Really quickly, if everyone will look over there by the Boy Scouts, we have Ted from Legion Brewing.
He's waving.
He is waving for us. He's going to be a little Vanna White. He's giving out free beer. He said, no, really, it is free, and it's only made with at least 1% evil in every batch.
1% evil. Everyone can have some if you're 21.
Stroud's Fitness Jammer line, we've got Phenol Barbie Doll going up against Party McFly for the Hooligans.
I think this is Party's first time on the line as Jammer in this game today.
I believe so.
Trauma Queen's doing a great job holding her back and pushing her out.
Both jammers are veterans, so they've got some experience in the game and in the track.
Party and Phenol are both, their footwork and their aggressiveness on the track is something to just be spoken of, because they're both such great players. They both skate on the Fighting Unicorns travel team, and they're both just invaluable skaters in this league. They're amazing.
Absolutely, and I love that every single move both of them make is very calculated. Everything is very thought out. Nothing is done haphazardly or accidentally. Everything has its purpose. It's very, very great to watch.
Back to the middle!
Phenol running into some trouble at the back of the Hooligan pack with Jenny Hoffa and Armenian Assaulter.
The offense, I feel like, on both sides, both the Trauma Queens and the Hooligans, I feel like the offense has slowed down some, which is causing that little bit of backup for some of the jammers. They're not getting as much help from their teammates as they have been up to now.
Party McFly trying to run through that inside, gets tripped up and calls off the jam, getting 1 point for the Hooligans.
Timeout for the Trauma Queens. I stopped at, I did South Massage, so the Abbey is up.
After the games tonight, you can meet us at the Abbey Inn in the Abbey Underground in Denton, Texas. It is the official after-party location of the North Texas Derby Revolution. 21 and up, no cover.
Shenanigans happen at the Abbey. It's always a good time.
Who do you think is going to win the after-party for the year?
The Hooligans have taken the after-party winner award for the last 2 years. I think maybe
so.
3 years. 3 years. They're all holding up at 3. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this season, whether the Hooligans can hold on to the after-party winners.
You know, CTH was actually giving them a run for their money last season. I saw a ton of CTH
That was
girls
amazing.
at the after-party. It was great.
CTH are up-and-comers. The new skaters in our league are not drafted to teams yet, but they sure can after-party with the best of them, that's for sure.
Back to the track on the Stroud's Fitness Jammer line, we have Roxy McSocksoff going up against captain of the Hickory Street Hooligans, Ruby Soho.
Both jammers struggling with the teams they are up against today.
Pretty
Ruby
intense.
Soho named lead jammer.
That was an intense pileup we had there between turn 1 and turn 2 in that apex of the track there.
And Love Struck heading to the box for, I think was probably a low block.
Low block.
Based on the pileup that happened there in that turn. Oh, Ruby weaving in, out, and through those Trauma Queens.
Roxy McSocksoff still fighting at the back of the pack, trying to get through.
She's still fighting for her initial pass, I believe.
Oh, able to sneak by that inside line on her initial. She is not lead, but she is in the clear while she comes around the track.
Ready to score some points, and Ruby Soho calls off the jam before that can happen.
Looks like we may have about 1 or 2 jams. We're just inside 2 minutes of this first half of the game. Hooligans leading 104, Trauma Queens 26. It's interesting, though, in roller derby, this is not a huge point spread. That's something that can be achieved. With a couple good power jams, you can get about 20, 25 points.
I believe the most points ever scored in a single jam was 45. I'm not sure who scored it, what team they were for. Do you know?
Here in House of Quad?
No, in general.
Oh,
in
in
the
general?
world of
No,
roller
I
derby.
do not know general.
45 points in one jam is crazy, but it has happened. Oh, Prez going to the box on a cut. Trip tonight is going to fight her way through those trauma queens and try to gain lead jammer status.
Really great hit on Mimi Martini from the Blocking Dead by the Hooligans.
And Trip tonight is officially called lead jammer.
Outside! All the way to the line, Jack! There you go.
Ooh, nice hit by Mimi Martini. A little bit of a Pop-Tart there. Knocked Trip tonight right off her feet. Mimi is all over Trip, but she sneaks by on the inside despite the effort.
President of the United States flying by on the outside, unnoticed, getting out of the pack.
Unfortunately, well, for them, fortunately for the Hooligans, Trip tonight was paying attention and called off that jam before Perez had a chance to score.
On the Stroud's Fitness Jammer line, we've got Armenian Assaulter going up for the Hooligans against Baroness Von Booty, number 1057 for the first time tonight.
Booty's a pretty heavy hitter. This should be really interesting to see her, because she's typically a blocker. I love to see blockers jam. It's one of my favorite things to watch.
Armenian able to get by that inside line on Whammy Jammy, getting lead jammer for the Hooligans.
Booty is pounding her way through those Hooligans, and she has made it on the inside. Hooligans are going to come in and try to grab some points and likely call off the jam before Booty has a chance to score.
It's a good strategy on the Hooligan part to come through and secure their leads. Armenian thought about calling off the jam. Doesn't look like she's going to do it yet. She's going to try and go through for a few more points, I think.
I think she was waiting on the word of her coaches and her bench coach whether or not to call that off, and they told her not to, so she's keeping it rolling. The period clock, the jam is not over. We have 1 minute and 7 seconds left in this jam, and maybe the Hooligan strategy is to run it out.
It is a good strategy. It's effective to wear down the opposing team for sure. If you've got the gas to do it, I say go for it.
Hoffa going to the box for skating out of bounds.
For those of you unaware, you can pick up a skating out of bounds penalty a couple different ways. If you just step out to avoid a hit, or that's usually it.
If you skate out of bounds and right back in and don't cut anybody, then it's a skating out of bounds penalty. If you skate out of bounds to avoid a hit, that's just the worst. We don't like to do that.
All right, it looks like it is halftime. We'll see you guys back here in...
The basics of flat track roller derby. Brought to you by Antic Skate Boots and the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. The game of roller derby is played on roller skates. The players wear helmets, elbow pads, wrist guards, and knee pads. The track is flat, not banked. Each 30-minute half is broken down into shifts called jams. The group of 8 players at the front is called the pack. The pack is made of players who play the position of blocker. Behind the pack are the jammers. The jammers are the skaters who score points and are marked by a large star on their helmet. When the whistle blows, the jammers try to skate their way through the pack and out the other side, but they will be met with the hips, rear, and shoulders of the opposing team's blockers. When 2 bodies make contact on the track, this is called a block. Once the jammers have skated their way through the pack the first time, they're ready to begin scoring. They earn a point every time they legally pass a member of the opposing team. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. The jammers will fail to earn points if they pass the opposing blockers illegally. Any player who performs an illegal action will earn a penalty. So what's illegal? Elbows, tripping, back blocking, and passing out of bounds. Any player who receives a major penalty has earned a 30-second trip to the penalty box. The jam ends when the lead jammer places her hands on her hips, or when 2 minutes has elapsed. 30 seconds later, a new jam begins, and the whole thing starts again.
Bad sport, like all around. I saw the girls doing it and I was like, I can do that.
I got tattooed with another girlfriend of mine, and she always cried when she got tattooed because it hurt, and she played roller derby, and I thought, I don't cry when I get tattooed, so maybe I'm stronger than you. Maybe I can play roller derby. I'm an athlete. I played some sports growing up, and I was a childhood skater, a speed skater. For me, it was just the best of both worlds. I was able to combine my desire to play a sport along with the skating.
It looked a lot more intense than it actually feels. Actually, don't use that at all, because it's really intense, and it sucks sometimes.
I met my husband, actually, in Derby.
I'm a triple threat. I play them all. I'm a triple threat. I play everything. Blocker, jammer, and pivot. Blocker and pivot primarily are responsible for playing offense and defense and trying to get their jammer through and prevent the other team from having their jammer get through. And the jammer is basically your offensive person who's responsible for scoring points.
Having an injury was pretty sucky. I hurt my knee, so I was out for about a month and a half total.
It's usually not a matter if somebody gets hurt. If you're in it long enough, you're going to get hurt. But I've had a broken fibula, torn deltoids, which required fixation with plate and screws. And then I've had knee surgery and I've had foot surgery.
Receiving the 2012 Best Blocker Award from my league. A lot of my league mates voted for me, so that was super awesome. Totally, I didn't expect it, and I also I got 2012 MVP, so that was, I cried. I mean, it was a roller derby award, but I cried because it meant a lot to me. There really hasn't been anything easy about joining derby. It's been very time-consuming, very physically draining, sometimes emotionally draining because you get so involved in it and you just want to get better and better, and at times you do plateau, so that gets pretty frustrating. At the same time, the stuff that's been hard has been so rewarding that it totally works out in the end.
Trey Taxi, Trey offense for me.
I just want to make sure that wasn't the problem. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, so that won't be an issue?
We have one hooligan in the box. I believe it's Jenny Hoffa hanging out down there in Big Mikey's penalty box.
We've got Ruby Soho, captain of the Hooligans, going up against Beetle Marginal, co-captain of the Trauma Queens. Whammy Jammy called to the penalty box on a multiplayer penalty.
If you are holding an impenetrable wall with your own teammate and the jammer is trying to get through you or another player is trying to get through you, that is considered a multiplayer block, and that is illegal.
Beetle looking to see that inside hit the jammer. By that Hooligans defense. Calls off the jam. Able to pick up 3 points though.
Hooligans 0. That flyby worked out. Who's here to cheer for the Hooligans tonight? Hooligans, who's here to cheer for the I'm staring at all of you. Who's here to cheer for the Hooligans tonight? Y'all are breaking my hearts. Who's here to cheer for the Trauma Queens tonight? Yeah. almost got by there on the inside, didn't quite make it. The blocking dead stopped her there. Little butt back and forth on the track. Coming up the inside and gets by for a grand slam. 5 points for Little Butt Fierce. Yolandi Disser got a penalty right at the end of that jam, so she'll be starting the Trauma Queens will be starting this jam 1 player down. They've got Joan Jetsetter on the line for the jammer and Party McFly for the Hooligans. Philip. Jones only about a quarter track behind her. That was smooth. She was almost hit out here on the outside and stayed in bounds. And the Trauma Queens got 2. Trauma Queens are starting out again with only 3 blockers on the track. Yolandi Disser she's got a few seconds left in there, so she should be joining her team shortly.
Hooligans have a player down as well. We've got a maniac assault in the penalty box.
On the line, we have Roxy McSocksoff for the Trauma Queens and Triptonite for the Hooligans.
Both jammers trying to get through that back wall. Trying to get by, getting some trouble. Hooligans in front of the pack.
Big hit.
Outside from it. Looks like the
Blocking Dead.
Blocking Dead, yes.
Blocking Dead is a player that comes out of nowhere on the track and will lay you out.
Kryptonite able to sneak by that inside line, picking up lead jammer for the Hooligans. Roxy going up against Blocking Dead on that inside. Still really trying to get through. Showing great tenacity. There's a no pack. She gets by.
She pushes those Hooligans out far enough to go ahead and go on past them because it was a no pack. She's on her scoring pass now, and Triptonite calls it off right on time. Both jammers trying to find that alley on the inside. Neither are successful. Both decide to go out, and Little Bit Fierce makes it out of the pack. Phenol is coming up. If she can get past Storma Cummins, she's going to make it. Ooh, sneaks by, slides through, coming by on the inside. Little Buck calls it right on time. 0 points for the Trauma Queens and 3 points for the Hooligans. On the jammer line for this jam, we have Party McFly for the Hooligans and Joan Jetsetter for the Trauma Queens. Baroness Bon Booty should be coming right out of the box here pretty soon to join her team.
Party trying to push up that outside on Yolandi and finds a little bit of an opening, but takes a great hit from Amy Martinez to the inside. Gets recycled back. Joan Jetsetter able to get by with the jammer.
Party McFly right behind her. Joan better move fast.
It's a dangerous spot to be in. You never
Very.
see Party coming up right behind you.
Party is one of the last people I want to see coming up behind me in a pack. That is for sure. But on the same note, I don't want to see her in front of me either as a blocker. She is a phenomenal skater all the way around.
She's one of those triple threats that's great at blocking, jamming, and pulling as well.
She is a PB&J all the way. We have several of those actually in this game. These two teams have players that actually play all three of those positions very well.
President of the United States, claims number 666.
Prez is one of the visiting skaters from the Mafia. There are 3 skaters from the Mafia helping out the Trauma Queens tonight. The Trauma Queens had some injuries, and those ladies are coming back off of that real soon. But in the meantime, it is sisterly love in our league, and we're sharing our people.
It's always fun to see visiting skaters play, though, because they bring so much different stuff. It's very, very dynamic to see. But since we all practice as a league, it's pretty cohesive as far as strategies, because we all learn mostly the same things.
Ooh, Tripp just scored 5 points there. Prez still has not made it out of the pack. She's working on her initial pass. Armenian and Storma held her at the front, and she finally made it through. Now to see if Tripp tonight makes the decision to call off the jam before Prez has a chance to score, or if she's just going to keep on rolling. Calling it off.
Hey, play nice, children.
Trauma Queens are starting 1 down. Whammy Jammy should be coming out of the box. You can see her standing. That means she has 10 seconds or less left before she can leave the box. Washington sneaking around on the outside, trying to catch her. She gets by. Lead jammer goes to Washington.
Rossi McDowell still trying to get through that defense. Got some great offensive help. The pack with her initial, she's not lead, but she's going to try and pick up some points.
Agony's going to the box. So Hooligans are 1 down. And Daughter of Sam in the box. Ooh, Daughter of Sam gets out at the tail end of that jam, so the Hooligans will only start 1 down coming up in the next jam. Back to old school derby, starting on the pivot line.
It's so weird to see it at the front. Very, very different.
Skaters have to start behind the hips of the pivot if they are touching the line. Some of the newer skaters that have maybe never skated old school derby don't really know that, so they have to be told, which is always interesting right there on the line. Ruby Soho shoveling through the Trauma Queens, and Joan Jetsetter going to the box. Back block call.
Ruby's on power jam. Hooligans trying to capitalize on that opportunity for the 40 seconds just for themselves. Ruby tomahawk around that outside, still picking up a heavy beetle at the front. Gonna have to recycle all the way back.
Prez sneaks by Agony there to draw that further back and pull Ruby back as far as she can. That took her almost about a third of the way around the track, pulled her back. Ruby's going to do everything she can to push through, and she sneaks by. Tomahawks on the inside, scores all of her points. 4 points for the Hooligans in that jam. Not at the jam, I guess in that lap.
Smart strategy on Ruby, giving Armenian Assaulted the opportunity to start by herself. Hopefully the Hooligans take advantage and get another lead jammer status.
Trauma Queens are putting up a big fight against Armenian Assaulter, trying to hold her back and take up that power jam. It was just enough time to get Joan Jetsetter out of the box. Whammy Jammy holding Armenian back at the front, but she breaks through and is called lead jammer.
Joan Jetsetter taking a great hit on the outside for blocking dead. Didn't get recycled all the way back. She was paying attention to who actually hit her out, which is really important.
If Joan can push through the front and pull the Hooligans out of play, there she goes. Initial pass for the Trauma Queens. Armenian flying by on the outside and calls it off before the Trauma Queens have a chance to score. We're back to a full pack. There's always a little bit of joy when you're back to a full pack after you've had quite a few jams in a row, kind of riddled with penalties. Having a full pack out there for both teams is great. On the jammer line for the Trauma Queens, we have Roxy McSocksoff, and for the Hooligans, Lil But Fierce. Star pass happens. Roxy passed that off to the pivot, Phenol Barbie doll. Phenol flies through the pack, puts that star on her head, and forces the call off.
A little bit fierce, really want to take part of that. She was able to come up on her, so smart play.
Joan Jetsetter back on the line for the Trauma Queens.
Captain! Great captain!
Timeout called.
That was a pain in the ass. I don't know. How are we gonna do?
Feel good. Is she gonna get a penalty?
No, it's a one. Is that? Have you ever heard that? Yeah. Hey. Can you show me that like after the game? Sure. I want to. Yeah. Neither did me and Joe. Unless that's a new rule that they came out yesterday. It doesn't matter. That's all you got to do.
There is a little bit of confusion on the benches. The star, when Phenol put it on her head after taking that star pass, the star apparently has to be on the sides of the helmet. If you put the panty on crooked, where the stars are on the front and the back, that's not okay. So they got a warning for that, and we'll be watching it for the next time.
Yeah, just a courtesy by Shaun of the Dead. It is a new rule. Recently, you're not allowed to have your helmet covers on inside out, so now in order to legally be pivot or jammer, your helmet cover must be facing the proper direction.
Joan Jetsetter was called lead jammer, but she slid out on turn 4 and was passed by Trip tonight. Her team screaming at her to call off the jam to make sure that Trip does not have a chance to score. A 0-0 jam is much better than any points scored from the opposing team or letting someone score on you for not calling it off in time.
Absolutely. If you can match anybody's points, that's always better than them beating you even by one. On the Stroud's Fitness Jammer line, we've got Roxy McSocksoff going up against Armenian Assaulter. See some really similar strategies on the blocker side here. Both jammers really pushing to get through the opposing walls. Great defense on both teams.
It's going to take some power pushes to get through these walls, that is for sure. Armenian not making it through Trauma Queens, and Roxy not making it through the Hooligans.
Both teams doing a phenomenal job of making sure the pack stays in play, bridging back.
Phenol going to the box for a multiplayer block. Donnie will be joining Phenol in the box. That leaves 2 blockers for the Trauma Queens.
President of the United States giving Armenians some trouble. The back of the pack.
Yeah, Roxy was called lead jammer, trying to make her way around. Armenian is coming up fast.
That was a really intense initial pass for both jammers. You never want to not get through within that first lap.
That is 1 point for the Trauma Queens and 0 points for the Hooligans. On the Stroud's Fitness Jammer line, we have Baroness Bonvoody
Going up against Party McFly. It is a mouthful with
That
the
one is
B's
really hard to say.
and the V's. It all runs together.
She is pushing through the blocking dead and makes it out of the pack. Not before Party McFly, who is lead jammer. Party's coming up the outside to get all of her points and calling it off before Booty has a chance.
It's lucky, too. It looked like maybe Martini was really going to try and take Party out there on that outside. That would have been an impressive block had she been able to follow through with it.
Green 3, back block. Green 3, back block. Not green 1, green 3.
Green 3 being called on a back block, so Party is going to be serving the penalty. That
Party
Washington
is serving the penalty as the jammer for a back block from the last jam, which means the Trauma Queens are starting out on a power jam.
Great opportunity for Phenol Barbie Doll here with the Trauma Queens.
Phenol is a power player. She's going to do her job, pushing through, making it out of this pack, fighting off Sweet Little Agony, which is always an adventure.
President of the United Skates taking out Daughter of Sam. Impressive outside hit.
And Hoffa's down.
The basics of flat track roller derby, brought to you by Antic Skate Boots and the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. The game of roller derby is played on roller skates. The players wear helmets, elbow pads, wrist guards, and knee pads. The track is flat, not banked. Each 30-minute half is broken down into shifts called jams. The group of 8 players at the front is called the pack. The pack is made of players who play the position of blocker. Behind the pack are the jammers. The jammers are the skaters who score points and are marked by a large star on their helmet. When the whistle blows, the jammers try to skate their way through the pack and out the other side, but they will be met with the hips, rear, and shoulders of the opposing team's blockers. When 2 bodies make contact on the track, this is called a block. Once the jammers have skated their way through the pack the first time, they're ready to begin scoring. They earn a point every time they legally pass a member of the opposing team. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. The jammers will fail to earn points if they pass the opposing blockers illegally. Any player who performs an illegal action will earn a penalty. So what's illegal? Elbows, tripping, back blocking, and passing out of bounds. Any player who receives a major penalty has earned a 30-second trip to the penalty box. The jam ends when the jam places her hands on her hips, or when 2 minutes has elapsed. 30 seconds later, a new jam begins, and the whole
Sometimes
thing starts
when that
again.
happens, it's a crazy injury. In this case, this was a severe muscle cramp to the point where she could not get up herself. And everyone, Trauma Queens, Hooligans, Muertas, drink your water. Nightmares. You guys hydrate all the time. I see it on Instagram.
started doing that. Everyone had to start posting pictures of their water and food that they were doing.
Hoffa is going to be just fine. She just needs a minute.
So when Jimmy Holton doing that, player has to stop here for pre-jams. It doesn't mean they're ineligible to play, so she might be able to come back in about 10 minutes or so.
She can work that cramp out. She should be able to come back or not for the end of this game. We only have about 8 minutes left in this game. Party made it out of the box, and she's coming up at the back, while Mimi Martini is trying to push her way through that wall of hooligans at the front. They are both doing their very best job. Party on the outside, called lead jammer. Mimi's still struggling to get past Washington and the blocking dead. And Mimi makes it out of the pack. Party is coming up for her scoring pass. Some offense happening from Ruby Soho and the blocking dead. Calls off the jam before Mimi has a chance to score any points.
We're going to take an official timeout for just a second to fix the game clock. Next whistle is going to start the jam. On the Strouds Fitness Jammer line, we have got Roxy McSocksoff for the Trauma Queens going up against Triptonite for the Hooligans.
$2 pistol starting in the box. Panty pass happening for the Trauma Queens. President of the United States has the star in her hands, trying to fight through Storma and Agony and Daughter of Sam to make it out of that Hooligans pack. Oh, squeezes by and goes out of bounds. Triptonite coming to the box. That gives the Trauma Queens a power jam. Prez just has to make her way through, start scoring some points. Coming by on the inside. This will be a 2-minute jam. We have a jammer in the box, and although Prez did not go to the box, there was a no pass, no penalty at some point, which means she is not eligible to be lead jammer. Big hit by Sweet Little Agony there on President of the United States, which means she has to fight through those hooligans all over again.
Triptonite running into some trouble at the front of the Trauma Queen pack. Able to get by on a no pack. Not lead.
Prez makes it through the pack for 4 points. Trips coming up to the back of the pack, hoping to score again. Ooh, nice offense by Storma coming, pushing that entire Trauma Queens wall to the outside so that Trip could squeeze by on the inside, have a clean and clear alley to do so. This pack is moving fast.
Storma coming, using a really powerful push from teammate $2 Pistol to take out President of the United States.
Prez goes by on the inside thanks to some great offense by her Trauma Queens teammates. Trip came into the pack a little bit hot, and the jam is over just in time for the Hooligans to score 3 points in that lap and the Trauma Queens to score 4. fighting off some offense there from the Hooligans. Baroness Von Booty up at the front. She's got 2 Hooligans to make it through, and she'll be called lead jammer if she can make it. Washington skating up.
Washington, lead jammer for the Hooligans, making her way around, trying to get some points.
Mimi Martini getting called on a back block. She took out, I believe, Ruby Soho there on turn 2. Washington calling off the jam after a big hit to the floor. Trauma Queen 0 in that lap.
He calls her quick.
Trauma Queens are starting this jam with 3 blockers, 1 down. Mimi's in the box. Roxy McSocks off on the line for the Trauma Queens, and Little Butt Fierce on the line for the Hooligans. Little Butt flying by on the outside. She didn't even give those Trauma Queens a chance to hit her.
No, she's really great at looking for those holes and just really taking advantage. It's important to not hesitate as a jammer. When you just see those opportunities, you just have to go for it.
Roxy made it out of the pack, and then Washington caught up to her and pushed her out, and they pulled her all the way back behind everybody again. Roxy going to the box for a track cut. That puts the Hooligans on another power jam.
Mimi Martini back on the track with the Trauma Queens.
These Trauma Queens blockers are going to have to do their best job stopping Little Butt Fierce from scoring points while maintaining pack and keeping order. Little Butt calls it off as Roxy stands, which means the Hooligans are going to start another jam with the opposing jammer standing, starting off in a power jam.
Good opportunity for Amania and Salter to go through, hopefully pick up some points for the Hooligans.
Armenian has been skating with our league almost from the beginning, and she has grown so much as a jammer and a blocker in the league. She's been doing, she's made so much progress and doing such great things. She has gained some power and is much more aggressive as a jammer or 2 seasons ago.
Are you talking about getting through that Trauma Queen defense at the front of the pack?
Roxy passes the panty to Booty.
They're coming doing a great job pulling out that pack as far as they.
Queens get pushed to the outside by the Hooligans wall, playing some great offense that lets her go by on the inside. Booty coming up to try to score some points now for the Trauma Queens. Jam is called off by Armenian. 3 points for the Trauma Queens were called in that lap.
Ruby Soho coming right out of that pack to be called lead jammer.
For the Trauma Queens, we have Joan Jetsetter fighting her way through. Party McFly pushes her out on the outside with her famous booty flip that she has played on all of us in this league. It is fierce. That is the last place you want to be when you're coming up on Party McFly. Ruby is hitting back. Ruby going to the box for a forearm, which gives Joan a chance to squeeze by on the outside. Has completed her initial pass and is now in a scoring position while the Hooligans have their jammer in the box. $2 pistol coming out of the box to join her hooligan teammates as a blocker. And Ruby Soho is standing through that pack. And try to push her way.
Ruby Soho really fighting. Trauma Queen defense gets taken down.
She's awesome. Maintain pass.
Whammy Jammy was that last line of defense, but had to just let Tripp go.
Roxy's coming to the box. I didn't see the call.
Slow down, slow it down. Slow down.
Tripp tonight, making her way through her own team. Back out to help her team. Dodgers down, coming out of the box. They are now in full house of hooligans out there. Tripp tonight makes it through, but gets ball on her forearm. She'll be coming to the box, and she'll be sitting only as long as Roxy sat, which is almost the full 30 seconds, probably about 22 seconds.
Hey, Roxy! Don't try now. Go, 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 go.
Here comes Roxy for her chance to score. I believe she's already made her initial pass. No?
It doesn't look like it. It looks like she's on her initial currently.
She's got to make it through this pack in order to have the opportunity to start getting some points for her team.
Running into some trouble at the front of the pack from Daughter of Sam. Storma coming, really trying to come and blow her up. Mrs. Roxy gets by on her initial pass.
Already out of the box is Tripp tonight. Making it through the pack right before the end of that jam and scoring 5 points. Trauma Queen score 0 in the block.
In what very well could be the last jam, we've got Little Butt Fierce going up against
Mimi's out there.
Mimi. I couldn't see her for whatever reason.
Little Butt doing a little dance there on the line, trying to intimidate Mimi Martini.
Sometimes that works.
Little B has been on fire tonight.
Absolutely.
So quick, and she's following her offense, finding the alleys, and making it through. Mimi Martini trying to fight off.
Mimi Martini.
Penalty there.
Looked like it almost could have been a track cut, but it looked like it was just the 1 foot. She didn't go all the way out of bounds. Lucky break for sure.
Here she comes to score some points for the Trauma Queen. Coming up in front of the pack. We're holding a little bit here back. Trauma Queen went down like bowling pins just then. Prez trying to do a big hit. Little Butt called off at the end of the period clock. The unofficial final, 216-59.
That's the game, folks. All right, everybody, make your way to the center of the track so you can high-five these awesome athletes. Hickory Street Hooligans, go ahead and take your victory lap. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Trauma Queens. As they're making their way around, we'd like to thank all of our awesome NSO and refs. As soon as they're finished with this victory lap, John Wayne Stacy's in the middle with MVP awards. For Best Blocker from the Hickory Street Hooligans, we have the Blocking Dead. Also from the Hooligans, Best Jammer, we have Little But Fierce. MVP from the Trauma Queens, we have Baroness Von Booty. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back for the second game. Muertes Locas.